Okay, so they told us 3,000 pounds in a year. That's important information that we're going to have to come back to. So it takes 20 pounds of olives to make 3 liters of olive oil. So 20 pounds of olives, 3 liters of olive oil. How many liters of olive oil can this orchard produce in a year? If you get stuck, consider using the table. Now, it says in a year, so that's confusing. But it tells us that in a year, they make 3,000 pounds. So we are trying to get our pounds to 3,000, and we have to find the liters. Leave it there. Okay, and it had the table set up for us, but you guys had to flip the page. So raise your hand if you worked it using equivalent ratios before you flipped the page. Okay. So the way they had us get there is they took us from 20 to 100. How do we get from 20 to 100, Finley?
Times 5.
Times 5. So what is 3 times 5? 15. How do we get from 100 to 3,000, Briley? Times 30. Okay, what is 15 times 3, Maya? 45. Then how many zeros do I need to add? 1. So what is my answer? Brant? 450 liters of olive oil. Questions on that one? Number 4. Label each remaining tick mark with its value. At a school recess, there needs to be a ratio of 2 adults for every 24 children on the playground. The double number line represents the number of adults and children on the playground at recess. Who can complete my table? Give me the top and then the bottom. Kinley, go ahead.
So for the third thing, 1 is 4. And then for the bottom one, it's 48.
Okay.
And then 6 and 72.
Okay, so the top is counting by 2s, the bottom is counting by 24s. So we're done with A. For B, how many adults are needed if there are 72 children? Kendall? 6 adults, and all we had to do is look right there. 6 adults. Okay, number 5. While playing basketball, Jada's heart rate goes up to 160 beats per minute. So playing b-ball, her heart rate is 160 beats per 1 minute. While jogging, her heart rate or her heart beats 25 times in 10 seconds. Assuming her heart beats at a constant rate while jogging, which of these activities resulted in a higher heart rate? So I am comparing these two heart rates. Pay attention. What do I have to do to make these comparable? Maya? I have to get something the same. Why is this one weird? Reese? This one is 1 minute. This one is 10 seconds. So we have to think back. What do we know about seconds and minutes, Callan? There's 60 seconds in 1 minute. So if I get this one to 60 seconds, is it comparable? Yes. So let's do that first. So times 6. What is 25 times 6? Kendall? 150. So that means that this one is 150 beats per 1 minute if it's 60 seconds. So the time is the same. So which higher heart rate? Which one is higher? Emma? Yes, so basketball results in the higher heart rate is what you would write. That goes along with your work. Basketball results in the higher heart rate. Now, we could have also gotten the beats the same, but we would have had to get the time to the same label. So that would have been the easiest way to do this one. Not that there's not other ways. It would have been a lot longer to get there. Does that make sense what we did? Yeah. Okay. Number 6 made you do some long division. I'm just going to give answers, and if we need to work any of them out, we can. Who can tell me my problem for A that I had to solve? Kendall?
$1.80 over 6.
Yeah, $1.80 over 6. So really we would have had to do $1.80 divided by 6. Brady, what did you get? 30 cents, which we would write like this. What's the rest of my answer? Per ear. 30 cents per ear. B, Bryson, what would my work be? 288 over 12. When we divide that out, what'd you get, Lori?
24 cents per apple.
24 cents per apple. Do you guys agree? Okay. Last one. Avery, what do I have to divide out? $3.10 divided by 5. What is our answer, Kanan? What did you get? Mm-hmm. 62 cents. Do you guys agree? So we would get, what's the rest of my answer, Parker? Per tomato. Okay, questions over any of those? Nope. Okay. Move over to the lesson 12 practice problems. What page are we on?
96.
Page 96. Number 1 we've already done together. Number 2. Kieran reads 5 pages in 20 minutes. They already put that on a table for us. He spends the same amount of time per page. How long will it take him to read 11 pages? What did they do on the table to kind of guide us, Briley? Yeah, they already filled in one column. And where did they tell us to go first? Kendall? To 1 page. So we're finding the unit rate first because you can't easily get from 5 to 11. So if you can't easily get there, it's always smart to go down to 1 first. Finley, what'd you do?
20 divided by 5.
Okay, so we divided by 5 first, and what'd you get? 4, and then what?
I did 4 times 11 and 1 times 11.
Okay, because that's times 11. So what is 4 times 11?
44.
So if you just have that, you are not correct. What is my answer, Logan? So that's my work. What is my answer? What? I couldn't hear you. Yeah, 44 minutes. Okay, so completing the table is your work. You write out your answer. Okay, number 3. Maya's making personal pizzas. 4 pizzas. She uses 10 ounces of cheese. They started our table for us. How much cheese does Maya use per pizza? If I am looking per pizza, Finley, where do I put my 1? Before the 4, because I'm looking for 1 pizza. How do we get from 4 to 1? Divided by 4. Bryson, what is 10 divided by 4 with no math at all? Without doing any math at all, what's 10 divided by 4? 10 fourths. Now, you guys know enough to know, is that a good final answer? Nope, that's a good work area. What is that as a mixed number, Paxton? Well, what is it as a mixed number? Think about that. You told me the decimal. Emma? 2.5. So 10 fourths is 2.5, which Paxton tells us is also equal to 2.5. For cheese, you could say 2.5 ounces, or you could say 2.5 ounces. Both of those are okay. So I'm going to write it as 2.5 ounces, but you could also have 2.5 ounces per pizza. Both of those are perfectly okay, because when we're talking about ounces of cheese, it could be a decimal or a fraction. At this rate, how much cheese will she need to make 15 pizzas? Would we want to build up the given information on this one? No, because can we easily get from 4 to 15? No. Lena, how do we get from 1 to 15?
Times 15.
Times 15. So here is times 15. Now we have choices. We probably wouldn't want to take that one times 15, because if we take a mixed number times something, what do we have to do to it first, Parker? Make it into an improper fraction. So your work for this problem should have either been 10 fourths times 15 over 1, or 25 times 15. Why would I be doing 25 times 15, Bryson?
2.5.
Yeah, 2.5, and then I just have to add in 1 decimal point in my answer. I'm just going to do this one. Oops, not 250, 150 over 4. So then I'd have to divide it out. Ooh, nope. Thinking ahead. So 37.5, or instead of dropping a 0, what could I have done? Kendall?
You could have made a
Fraction, I would have had 2 over 4. What does 2 over 4 reduce to? 1/2. Do you guys agree? Because I just did that pretty fast. 37.5 ounces of cheese, or ounces would be my answer. Okay, number 4 I let you skip, because once I sat down and worked it out, it's a long, ugly one. Number 5. A car that travels 20 miles in half an hour at a constant speed is traveling at the same speed as a car that travels 30 miles in 3/4 of an hour at a constant speed. Explain or show your work. I'm going to set up the ratio that it gave me. Now, let's say you don't have very good number sense. What can we all get to? Even if fractions don't really make sense to us. What do you think we could all get to next? Kendall?
Like how many minutes right now?
We don't even need to know minutes in an hour. Briley? We don't need minutes. I do not suggest taking this to decimals. And that still wouldn't be minutes. That would still be hours in decimal form. Paxton? Okay, we should all be able to get to 1 hour. How do you turn half an hour into 1 hour, Kinley?
Times 2.
Times 2. You guys should all know that 2 halves equals 1 whole. What's 20 times 2? 40. Now, that's still weird because we're trying to get to 3/4 of an hour and see if it's equivalent to our ratio or prove that it's equivalent. Can we go from 1 to 3/4? What could I go to that I could easily build up to 3/4? Emma? 1/4. How can I get from 1 to 1/4? Callan? So 1 times 4 is 1. Yeah, divide by 4. Good job. So 1 divided by 4 is 1/4. So on top, what's 40 divided by 4? 10. How do we get from 1/4 to 3/4? Times 3 is 10 times 3, 30. Yes, so we just proved that those two are the same. That one was kind of tricky. If you knew the relationship between 1/2 and 1/4, how do we get from 1/2 to 1/4? What's the relationship between those two fractions, Maya? Callan? So multiply 1/4 by 2, which would mean take 1/2 divided by 2. 20 divided by 2 is 10, and then you could build it up from there. So you could have skipped the 1. Briley?
Well, I trained like half an hour for 30 minutes, and I still got I got 1.5 of my answers, so they were the same.
So it's possible, but if it doesn't ask about minutes, try not to change to minutes. It just makes the problem harder. Just leave it at the label that's given. Okay, number 6. Lynn makes her favorite juice favorite juice blend by mixing cranberry juice with apple juice in the ratio shown on the double number line. Complete the diagram to show smaller and larger batches that would taste the same. So on these ones, the first thing we need to do is decide what we are counting by. If the third notch is 9, Lori, what are we counting by? We're counting by 3s on top. On bottom, if the third notch is 21, Parker, what are we counting by?
By 3. No. Wait. By 7.
Yeah, because if I split 21 into 3 equal parts, it would be 7. So 7, 14, 21. And that one, did it ask us to do anything else? No, it just gave us the table. Or was there more on the next page? To that problem, was there more on the next page? Maya. I don't know. I don't think you guys have that one. I think it was a typo on the online version. Okay, number 7. Okay, why are those equivalent? Who can give me a good reason? Finley.
600 and 60 and 445 and 600 and 450. To get to 600 and 450, you have to multiply by 10.
Okay, so her reasoning is that this one is 10 times as much as that one. Does her reasoning work? Okay, Maya, did you have something different? Okay, if you simplify the first one, you can simplify it down to 60 over 45. Different ways to explain that one. What about B? Kendall?
You can divide 60 over 45 by 12. And then
Yeah, if you divide the first one by 12, it would be equal to 4 to 3. C. Callan, what do you have for C? Okay, if you divide them both by 150, it would result down to 4 to 3. Yep. Or you could build 4 to 3 up to 600. So on both of those, you could break one down to the other or build the other one up to the opposite one. Okay, lesson 13. Number 1, this one just had us make a table that represents the same situation. It didn't ask us to do anything. Your table should have water in cups. If you made your table up and down, is that okay?
Yes.
Lemonade powder in scoops. So my first ratio was 2 to 1.5, 4 to 3, 6 to 4.5. That's all you had to do. Number 2, a bread recipe uses 3 tablespoons of olive oil for every 2 cloves, Kinley, stop please, of crushed garlic. Complete the table to show different sized batches of bread that taste the same as the recipe. They filled out the left side for us. We just have to fill out the right side. And I told you yesterday, can you have a fraction of a garlic clove? Yes. Okay. How do we get from 3 to 1? Divide by 3. Emmett, without doing any math, what's 2 divided by 3? 2/3. So for 1 tablespoon of olive oil, I would need 2/3 of a clove of garlic. Kinley, how do I get from 1 to 2? Times 2. 2/3 times 2. The easy answer is 4/3. But is that a good final answer? No. Paxton, what's a better answer? That's not a better answer. Brant? 1 1/3 cloves. 1 1/3 cloves. I don't suggest you divide these out to decimals because you would get repeating decimals and you would have to round it, which is not an exact answer. Okay, fractions are exact. Some decimals are exact, but if they're repeating and if you have to round them, you're taking off that exact answer. For the next one, which one would I want to build up, Avery, to get to 5? Probably the 1 would be our best bet. How do we get from 1 to 5? Times 5. Short answer, 2/3 times 5 is 10/3. What's a better answer, Maya? 3 1/3. Good job. 10 cloves. Abby, which one would I want to build up to 10 cloves?
The 5.
Yeah, probably the 5. And again, the best part of showing my work here, if I know 10/3 is the same thing as 3 1/3, which one would I want to multiply by 2?
10 over 3.
The improper fraction. So that would be 20/3 is an okay answer. What's better? Maya? 6 2/3. 6 2/3. So then it asked us to draw a double number line. Why would we not, why would a double number line kind of be weird for this one? Reese? There is a pattern, but is it a pretty pattern? It's not a pretty pattern, and we started at 3 and we would have had to go like backwards and then back forwards, because remember, a double number line has to be in order. So this is probably the better representation is the table. Because the double number line, the pattern would be hard to find, and we kind of got to go backwards and then back forwards. It's not a nice continuous flow. Okay, number 3. It wanted to know if this was my information for my car or for Claire, how far could she go in 1 hour? How far could she go in 1 hour? Logan, what did you do here?
I did. No, I kind of just did mental math for that one.
So first we would have to look at our rates, right? So pick one. What does that mean? The one I circled.
72 divided by 2.
So it means he went 72 miles in 2 hours. So you're saying to get to 1 hour, I could do what?
72
Divide it by 2, and what did you get?
36.
36. So that answer would be 36. It's asking for speed, right? Or no, how far? So 36 miles. 3 hours. Paxton, if I know I can go 36 miles in 1 hour, how could I find 3 hours?
You can go to 72 miles in 2 hours and you just add 36.
Okay, so he's saying he saw that 2 hours was 72, 1 hour is 36. So he's saying I could add 72 plus 36 and get 108. Raise your hand if you got the same answer a different way. Kinley, what did you do?
I kept going on the thing where after 36 over 1, I multiplied it by 3.
Okay, so you just built up your ratio to 3 and you did 36 times 3 and still got 108. 6.5. Kanan, how'd you find 6.5?
I added 36 to 216.
Okay, so that would give me 7. So if you, because 216 is 6 hours, 36 is 1 hour. Logan?
I did 36 divided by 2 and then added that to 216.
Okay, so first you found half of an hour. So you did 36 divided by 2 was 18, plus the 6 hours, which was 216. And what did you get as your answer? 234. Did anybody just expand their table to 6.5? How do we get from 1 to 6.5?
Times 6.5.
36 times 6.5 is still 234. Please turn around. Okay, number 4. Decide who was traveling faster given this information. So A, who was going faster and why? Maya. Okay, Diego, because he went further in the same amount of time. Good job. In the second one, Brady.
Lynn was traveling faster because she traveled shorter during the first one and got to the place faster.
So, hold on. So now we have 60 miles. Lynn, it takes 65 minutes to go 60 miles. Diego takes 70 minutes to go 60 miles. I think your answer was correct. Your explanation was weird. What did you say?
I said that that Lynn traveled in a shorter amount of time, but got somewhere faster.
Okay, so they went the same, she went the same distance, but in a shorter amount of time. Yeah, you just kind of said it funny. So Lynn is faster because she went the same distance in a shorter amount of time. Remember, when we're trying to get somewhere, if we're going faster, we get there quicker. Number 5, a sports drink recipe calls for 5/3 tablespoons of powdered drink mix for every 12 ounces of water. How many batches can you make with 5 tablespoons of drink mix and 36 ounces of water. So it tells me 5/3 powdered drink and 12 ounces of water. We're trying to get to 5 tablespoons and 36. Which of those is better mental math for us, Dominic? The top or the bottom?
The bottom.
The bottom. How do we get from 12 to 36?
Multiplied by 3.
Times 3. So that means 5/3 times 3 should be 5. Let's check it. Cross cancel. Did we get 5? Yeah. Okay, but that one doesn't make sense in our head. The bottom one does. So our reasoning is what? What is that? How many batches? Kinley? Yeah, it's 3 batches. 3 batches. Okay, number 6 was review, just to throw it out there. How do we find surface area? Brant? How do we find surface area? Parker?
Multiply the length times width times height.
No,
Oh, wait.
that is volume. Avery? Can you add to that? I can't hear. What'd you say? Kendall?
You find the area of all the
Find the area of all of the sides, which in this shape, what shape are all the sides? Square. What is the area of one side? 9. How many of those squares are there? So what's 9 times 6? 54. And my units squared. Parker, how do we find volume? Volume is length times width times height. What is my length, my width, my height, Maya? 3 times 3 times 3, which is not 9. What is 3 times 3 times 3, Bryson? 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. And that one is cubic units. Okay, listen carefully. You do have homework tonight. It's just a cool down worksheet. There is one problem from each of these lessons. Last night you had like 5 problems from each lesson. Tonight should be a lot quicker, but I am collecting it tomorrow. You may not use a calculator on it. You must show your work. If it says explain, if you have work to back it up, that works. But if there's no work and it says explain, you have to give a reasoning. Okay?